Hello, Abnormal Investigations. Good to see everybody. Got an encounter for you guys. Getting ready to drop a membership video, so for all of you members out there, should be dropped pretty soon, probably in the morning. So if you have a membership to the channel, I know Jesse membered some people. I believe Scott did. So Scott B, thank you so very much for that. I missed it in the live, but thank you for that, and God bless you. And guys, we're dropping a lot of things in Patreon. All the photographs go to Patreon. So if you want to be able to look at them, they're all there. And trust me, there's a lot of them. So Patreon is on the cheapest membership level. We're not, trying to get rich. We're just trying to show you guys what's out there. And you have to be careful with photographs because you can get flagged. Because like what Jessie sent in that she had from Bray Road, that's nothing we could ever show. But it is on the Patreon. She did send those in, and they're pretty wicked what this thing did. I'll never forget the night, excuse me, I encountered Old Stinker. It's a memory that's etched in my mind, and it still scares me to this day. I would like to share my encounter with you, Mike, and I have a question at the end. Life has had me rough recently. Approximately 3.5 months prior, I'd nearly died from a severe pneumonia, which left me hospitalized. To make matters worse, I'd been experiencing recurring problems with my legs, severely hampering my ability and mobility for the past year. Thankfully, I seem to be on the road to recovery. That is good news. I'm glad that you are recovering. As I sat in my chair near the window, I couldn't help but feel a sense of unease. The street lights outside cast eerie shadows on the ground, and the silence was oppressive. It was as if the world was holding its breath. Suddenly, I hear the annoying yapping of the neighbor's dog. It was one of those little irritating little lapdog breeds that seemed to bark incessantly. I glanced out the window, watching as the dog's owner tried to calm it down, yelling at it mostly to shut up. But then, I caught a whiff of something familiar, a stench that made my stomach turn. It was the same smell I'd encountered before, the same smell that signaled Old Stinker's presence. And I have to tell you that I use a wheelchair a lot of the time. My heart was racing. I turned off the living room light, and I held my breath, not wanting to draw Old Stinker's attention. I just knew it had to be him. I've seen him several times in our neighborhood. The last thing I wanted was for it to look up, see me, and remember our previous encounters. As I watched Old Stinker, he emerged from the shadows, its shaggy black form loping down the street. It was investigating the bins, nosing through the trash. The yapping dog seemed to sense its presence as it barked, grew more and more frantic. Old Stinker stopped outside the dog's garden, rising up on his hind legs. For a moment, it seemed to tower over the tiny dog, its stance almost human-like. The dog, undaunted, continued to yap and growl as if it was challenging Old Stinker. The confrontation ended up abruptly, with Old Stinker attacking the little dog. He reached over the fence and grabbed the dog by the back of the neck, like you would pick up a dog, a puppy. Picked him up, and I heard a sickening snap and crunch, and yapping stopped cold. My stomach lurched, and I felt bile rising in my throat as I almost vomited right there as I watched Old Stinker pull this puppy, or maybe full-grown dog, I'm not sure, it's small, apart with its bare hands, and then just toss it into the yard like it was nothing. As I watched in horror, Old Stinker turned and loped away, its 3 limbs moving swiftly. I didn't know if I could see the 4th one until I saw it was carrying the little dog's intestines in its hand. It had only tore out the innards and was taking them with him. I remained silent for a good hour after that, just watching the night. I was in shock, unable to process what I'd just witnessed. Eventually I saw posters go up around the neighborhood with pictures of the missing dog. I felt a pang of guilt knowing what had really happened to it, but I knew that it had tossed the dog back into the yard, and I was I was baffled as how they didn't know where their dog was. So I saw the neighbor and I asked him while we was outside. And I just said, I seen the paper. Did you not find your dog? And they said that there was some blood in the yard, but the dog was missing. They assumed that the dog had either got attacked by a hawk or something because of the smallness of the dog. But I knew I couldn't say anything. Who would believe me? I'd sound crazy spinning tales of dogmen and werewolves. So I kept my secret, watching as the neighborhood returned to normal. But I know the truth. Old Stinker is still out there. He's lurking in the shadows, no doubt. And I'm left here to wonder, when's the next time I'm going to see him in our town? I hope, and this is one of the things I wanted to ask you, Mike, and your viewers, if anybody has any answers for me. I'm hoping that he never comes for me, because I am disabled, and I know that the 411 videos and everything else I've watched, and even your show, that you believe that the mentally and physically disabled might be more prone to attacks and to become missing. Now, I can't say for sure or for certain that he has seen me when I've seen him out of my window watching him in my wheelchair at night, as I can't sleep from the pain in my legs waiting for them to stop hurting. But what I can tell you is I've seen him, and sometimes I wonder, did he see me and does it make me a target? Will he come for me? You know, I can't really answer that question and say, yeah, he will or no, he won't. The best thing I can tell you is to be aware and plan on if he's going to. Be safe. Do everything you can to secure yourself from him, like we talk about in all the other, motion detector lights, deer cams. Make sure your windows are locked, and, everything that you can do to be prepared. And just, I look at it all the time as, prepare for the worst, hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. So that would be the advice I could give to you. Thank you for sharing your story. I'm so sorry you had to watch that little dog go through that. It's very sad. Unfortunately, I do believe that happens a lot. Now, I can't say that dogs and these things don't get along. I can't. And the reason I can't say that is my mom, her sisters and brothers, and her mom, they had a small dog. And this little dog was opposite of most dogs. It knew whenever this creature was coming up to Granny's house. It would run around in the front room and be doing its normal things, and all of a sudden it would start smelling the air, and it would run to the window. But, it would never bark, and it would never growl. It would actually wag its tail and stuff like it was happy, like it was fixing to play. They would let the dog out. The dog would stay out for a while, and then the dog would come back inside. This is going to be in my book where I go into more details. I can't tell you everything on here again, because YouTube will not let me say exactly everything that happened, or they would remove it. But when I get my book done, you'll have everything. Anyways, a little dog on a rainy night one night, it went to the front door, and they knew it was out there because it had been beating on the house again. And the weird thing is, guys, you would think in rain and stuff that it would not do what it done, but actually the harder it rained, the worse it was. So they let the dog out that night, and it was pouring down rain. He was begging, having a fit, jumping up, scratching on the door, growling, barking, spinning, everything he'd done to go outside to use the restroom. So they let the little dog out. 30, 45 minutes later, the dog scratches on the door. They open the door, the dog runs in, and the dog is bone dry. Whatever was outside stopped. So they assumed whatever was outside, the little dog was going outside playing with it. And it, during the rain, had kept the little dog safe. What do y'all think about that? Wait till you hear the full story in my book, guys. Then you'll get to hear everything that happened in that story, and trust me, it's a lot darker. Thank you for listening, guys, and until next time, keep your head on a swivel, don't be something's dinner, and we'll see you on the next one.